Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Alex Film Thoughts podcast with me, your host, Alex. Okay, in today's episode, I am led down in my bed with my podcast mic in one hand and my Kindle in the other. Can you guess what we're filming today? Um, Today's episode of the Alex Film Thoughts podcast is all about books, reading, joy of reading, what I'm reading this summer, anything you can think of related to books. Let's go. So, I want to start this episode with what am I reading right now? And what am I enjoying? And what am I going to read next? So I have literally just finished last night at like 8 o'clock before I fell asleep in my bed. Funny Story by Emily Henry. Now, I am in between rating this a 4.5 and a 5 star, but I think I'm leaning towards a 5 star more because of my level of enjoyment in this book and like the fact that I've wanted to pick it up again and again and again. So, if you don't know Funny Story by Emily Henry, I didn't. I knew it was one of her books. I had no idea what any of the context was in terms of this book. I just knew people really enjoyed it. And it was like one of my favorite booktubers' 5 star reads. So I was like, you know what? I'm taking it. It's a romance. I want to read it on holiday. So that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, it's turned out to be a 4.5/5 star. The only thing hanging me up on whether it's a 5 star is because I'm not necessarily getting that 5 star feeling, but I also can't find a fault in this book. So I'm like, where is it not a 5 star, but also why am I not feeling the 5 star feeling? And I think I'm not feeling the 5 star feeling because I'm in a bit of a reading slump. I'm in a self-diagnosed reading slump. I think my reading slump is just due to the fact that my life is so busy and usually reading is my escape, but I've been trying not to escape so much so that I don't feel so much pressure in terms of timings to do everything I have to do. And we've restructured in the last 2 weeks. So today is a work day, but yesterday was a reading day, hence why I finished my book. Anyway, I've been in a reading slump. So anything that I wanted to pick up, it was just not appealing, even if I know it was a good book. I also think it's coming down off a God tier read. It will always do it to me. And that makes me not want to pick up my God tier reads. However, my God tier reads are God tier, so I always want to read them. But it means any other book I pick up after it isn't going to hit. And it just puts me in a slump because I'm like, oh, this is just not good, not as good as my God tier read. So I recently just re-listened to, because I haven't ever actually listened to it as an audiobook, Measure of a Man, which is a fic. However, God tier read, it is one of my all-time favorite, if not the all-time favorite reads I've ever read. And I listened to it as an audiobook again. Could you tell I was in like a low-key depression phase? No, not a depression phase, but like I was going through a hard time. Therefore, I picked up my God tier book and it gets me through the emotional turbulence of a hard time. So I listened to that and obviously, again, God tier read, 17 stars. Like you could not get higher, in my opinion, of what I enjoy reading. And post reading that, nothing else can compare. So I think that's why I didn't get the 5 star feeling with this, because when I read Measure of a Man or like any of my God tier reads, just yeah, everything else feels disappointing, even though it's a good book. Like I can't fault Funny Story. I've really enjoyed it. I wanted to pick it up every time. I always wanted to turn the page and see what was going to happen next because I really enjoyed Daphne and Miles. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the slump has caused it to not feel like a 5 star, but it is actually a 5 star because usually if something is a 4.5 or a 4, I've got something that I would have preferred to happen or something that was like irking me a little bit and it just made it not a 5 star. And I can't think of anything. So really what I'm saying is my own emotions getting in the way. However, if you don't know Funny Story, let's go back to the actual plot of the book. It is about Daphne and Miles. They are the cutest ever. Daphne was just about to get married. She had her dress, she had everything planned, and at the bachelor party, her fiance comes home and says, I've made a mistake, but the mistake is marrying you, and I can't marry you. I'm in love with my best friend. So Daphne's world is pretty much torn apart, and the only place she's got to go is the ex-boyfriend of the woman her fiance has run away with. So let's get some names in order. Daphne is our protagonist. Miles is the ex-boyfriend of the girl that Daphne's fiance has run away with. So Daphne's fiance is Peter. Peter's best friend is Petra. Petra's boyfriend slash now ex is Miles. And essentially, Daphne and Miles are now left in the dust because the best friends, Peter and Petra, have decided that they actually love each other and they are meant to be together. Shock horror. What do you mean? My baby Daphne and my baby Miles aren't going to get the happy ever after that they thought they were going to get with these people. So now Daphne has nowhere to live. Peter and Petra have decided that they're going to live in Peter's house, and Daphne has to move out and take all the wedding stuff and pretty much get on with her life without Peter. So Daphne has to go to Miles's house because she doesn't know anyone else really in Waning Bay, which is where they live and where Peter's house is. So Daphne and Miles move in together, and we kind of begin the story with Daphne and Miles as roommates, sharing a space, but also sharing a heartbreak because both of them have just had their lives rocked by their exes who are now in a relationship happy ever after, posting on social media, making them feel like literal shit. So we follow the story from there. And I think this book is set up so well. I was invested from the start. Like, F you, Peter. F you, Petra. You're never going to get a lick of sympathy from me. I think it portrayed Daphne's emotions so well. I think it portrayed Miles's emotions so well. And like from the jump, we get that these are two very kind-souled people. They have had a lot of disappointments in life. They've had a lot of emotional challenges. They've had a lot of things that they thought would be great, but ended up not being so great. And like the story of humanity, they just wish to find something like that again, but are too scared to try. And yeah, we followed the story from there and I really enjoyed it. So much happens in this book, but also nothing really at all. It's one of those ones where like the nuance is the beauty in this book and their passions and their joy and their enjoyment makes you feel passion and joy and enjoyment in what they find good and fun. So we follow their adventures. Miles shows Daphne a lot of Waning Bay and pretty much becomes her tour guide, her roommate, her best friend. And we kind of just see the story unfold from there. Friendships, friendship breakups, heartbreak, miscommunication, but in my favorite way that miscommunication can be done. It's like, okay, we just missed a trick here, not I've said something, you said something, we're miscommunicating purposely. Like, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to go into my hate for miscommunication tropes because you've probably heard that before if you watch my YouTube videos. But if you don't watch my YouTube videos, go there and my my explanations, yes, will be there for you. But yeah, that is Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I have very much enjoyed it. Some of my other current reads right now are The Striker by Anna Huang. I'm like here and there on this book right now. I'm 43% in. Like it's okay, but it's not great. I don't know how I feel about this. I think I'm going to try and get to like 60% and see, and I might DNF it, but it's like going okay. I'm at 61% of Jade City, and I think this is also slumping me because there are many themes in this book that I do not optionally read, including like substance abuse and things like that. And it's not like it's like a book about substance abuse or anything, but like substances and enhancements are so heavily tied to the plot line of this book that it feels like substance abuse and yeah, I'm it's very difficult to describe with this one because it's about jade, which is a mineral, maybe, question mark, stone, I think, like a jade stone that enhances a specific population on this one specific island, and their cultures and traditions and things are explained to you through this book. But the fact that jade is a precious, finite material that enhances a human leads to like substance and abuse issues surrounding the stone. And it's not like the story isn't about that at all, really, but the themes of that are quite present and I really don't like those themes. Never have, never will. It's pretty much a non-negotiable for me. So I'm like 61% in, but I think I'm gonna DNF. So that's also kind of slumping me. I have downloaded. Why is my Kindle so dark? I think it's because I was reading in the dark last night. Um, I have downloaded Annabelle Monaghan's Summer Romance because that's on Kindle Unlimited right now. I still need to finish The Hero of Ages. I think it was so good that I like slowed down and then I kind of forgot to keep reading it. So it's been like weeks since I've picked up The Hero of Ages. But I also am now worried that I've disrupted my flow so much that it's not going to be as high a start read because I've like not picked it up in weeks. So I really need to read that again. But yeah, like it's so good, but I've stopped myself because it was so good by getting through it too much because I hate that thing where like it's a 5-star read and then you read it in a day and you're like, oh, I wish I had more. Like I wish I could go through this experience again. And then I've kind of swung to the other end of the pendulum where I'm now not reading it at all. And I think I've disrupted the flow so much that it's not going to be a 5-star anymore. Anyway, we'll see when I get to the end of it. But I still need to finish Hero of Ages. I've got Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan downloaded. Um, sorry, hiccup. It is also on Kindle Unlimited, and I wanted to read it while on holiday, but for some reason, whilst on holiday, I really didn't read anything. Like, I had funny story going, but I was only reading it for like 20 minutes before bed, and then I'd fall asleep reading because I forget that in the sun I can't see anything, and I hate squinting because it gives me a headache. So then I never read. But anyway, I was only away for 3 days, so like my ambition to get like 7 books done was like unhinged. So yeah, I got Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan on my list. Carly Fortune's One Golden Summer because I really want to read the next one because everyone says it's really good, but you need to read One Golden Summer before you read the next one. And I thought, well, if I don't like One Golden Summer, I'm not going to buy both books and then not end up reading the second. So I've only got that one on my list so far. I've got Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan on there. I've got I still need to read Sunrise on the Reaping, but I've got this complex where I don't like reading things when everyone else is reading them because it skews my perception. So I've been waiting for this book for literally a year and like since it was announced, and now that it's out, I'm like, okay, but I don't want to be reading it when everyone else is reading it because if I see opinions, it's going to skew my own. Like the whole what's the book called? What is the book called? Like Lee Bardugo's Six of Crows and Lee Bardugo's like all of her books basically. I've waited years to read them so that I'd forget what everyone's opinions were or like what I knew of the plot because of spoilers so that I could read it with fresh eyes and it was just so good. Um I've got Little Thieves by Margaret Owen because Carrie recommended that, so I really want to read that. I've still got like all of my classics like A Tempest of Tea and Ember in the Ashes, but I think fantasy always hits more for me in the winter. Babel, I still need to read that. There's just so many books on my Kindle and so many physical books that I need to read. I'm still partway through King of Scars by Lee Bardugo. Oh, you guys, there's just so many books and not enough time. I need to quit anything I've ever done in my life and just have like a nice little cottage and read my books and have some ducks. That sounds like a great life. But yeah, that is basically what I'm reading right now. And I think to get out of my slump, I need to read like one or two more good romances and then maybe try a fantasy or like try and read Hero of Ages to like get me back into the fantasy flow so that I'm just like back to regular reading. I don't think I'm reading enough and it's making me unhappy. But yeah, what are you reading right now? Let me know. I'm very interested to see what everyone else is getting up to in their TBRs. Are we still doing TBR lists? Like, I've kind of gone away from them because I think it was putting too much pressure on me to read from the TBR list, and then I'd end up not reading because what I wanted to read wasn't on the list. So I'd feel guilty about picking up a new book that I hadn't told people I was going to read. So I've kind of stopped TBR lists for now. You never know. I might bring them back and just have like 3 books that I want to read in a month on that list because I need to pick back up to reading like 7 or 8 books a month. We're really like slumped hard. It's been 2 weeks. We're 17 days into July and I've only read one book. That is criminal to me. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop talking actually, just pick up my book now. But yeah, let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you are enjoying this summer. I think romances are going to be top of my list this summer to just get me out of this slump and like, yeah, grind through some books and get that number up so I feel like I'm on track for my reading goal again. My reading goal is 60 books this year. So we really need to get it together. Considering I'm on like 20, the next book I read will be my 24th book of the year. So we're not even halfway, and it's over halfway into the year. But yeah, that is all I've got. I hope you are enjoying your reading. I hope you're not in a slump because being in the slump is the worst. And please let me know. I love having a conversation about books. If you want more episodes about book content and what I'm reading, what I'm enjoying, and like discussing books, please let me know as well because I love talking about books, but I never know if anyone likes to hear me talk about books. So letting me know will be very advantageous to you having me talk more about books. But anyway. I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, or evening, or afternoon. And I will see you in the next episode of the Alex Beyond Thoughts podcast. Bye, guys.